tariffs are a tax on consumers, and I'm not a fan of jacking up taxes on American consumers. So my hope is these tariffs are short-lived and they serve as leverage to lower tariffs across the globe.
What President Trump is initiating here, this is a long-held belief that he believes that tariffs will correct those problems. But what's also indisputable is the markets are down about 8% in just 2 days, and I'm getting all kinds of reaction from businesses, farmers in Wisconsin that are highly concerned about what's happening. So those are the facts. So I just can't predict how this is going to turn out here. It's a bold, risky move.
Welcome to another episode of Unapologetically Gen X, where I talk about the past, present, and future events through the eyes and lens of the lost generation. I'm your host, Double D, and I got a great show for you today, so you're going to want to stick around. Basically, we're going to talk about Tariffs Part 2. This is going to be an extension of the actual video that I just released a few days ago. Right now, all of Washington, D.C. is up in arms, and they're losing their minds, and I got to admit, it's fairly entertaining. So let's get into it.
When Hart Smooley put on their tariff in the early 1930s, we lost the House and the Senate for 60 years. So they're not only bad economically, they're bad politically.
Oh, Rand, baby, from your lips. David Jelly.
You know, one of those clips about hopefully this will fix things soon. I had the reaction, what is Donald Trump actually trying to fix? I mean, we have some of the tightest labor markets, historically speaking, that we have seen. And so what is it that he's trying to fix? And I think that's where he throws up these trial balloons of, well, we're going to start building things here. Listen, you start with the plan to build things here, and then you use tariffs as levers to get there. But I think what you're seeing from Republicans is they're really stuck. And you mentioned in the opener, you know, the results in the Florida special elections, the results in Wisconsin, all of this anxiety that's spilling out on the street, the town halls, the protests in the street, Democratic voters going to the Republican members of Congress's offices and saying, you know, we demand some changes. That's working. To see a 15-point swing and a 20-point swing in Republican districts in Florida, a lot of those Republicans you just saw there on the screen are terrified, because if you're a Republican House member right now who's in a 6 to 8 point district, it was safe the last two cycles. That's no longer safe. Byron Donalds, the leading candidate for the Republican nomination of governor of Florida, was just asked to defend Trump's decisions on tariffs, and he had to. But you can kind of feel when you see Ted Cruz, Byron Donalds, and others defending the tariffs, they're not convinced that what Donald Trump is doing is right. But they got themselves in a corner where they have to defend the president. They're going to own this through next November. And if the special elections in Florida and the judicial election in Wisconsin are any indication, Republicans are digging themselves in a very deep hole that they.
So, I guess the short-term run here on the tariffs has been really bad look for the Republicans and for the president. Again, I have a feeling he knows what he's doing. I mean, it was a little abrupt. It was a little hard. You know, he definitely threw everything into a frenzy. But I think the long run will outweigh the short run. But everybody's just too spooked right now. But they kind of need to get over it, because I think it's going to be different. I think when it's all said and done, Americans are going to be happy that we went through this. But let's get back to it.
They may not be able to get themselves out of.
Michael, I could talk for 2 hours about all of this. You guys are all going to have to come back tomorrow to be continued. But I think it is so cataclysmic that this was Matt Gaetz's seat. Like nobody spent any money. This was like a ruby red district that swung. I think they swung 17 and 15 points. I think there are about 4 to 5 dozen seats that were decided by less than that. Rand Paul is absolutely correct to be talking about 50% of the seats. You know, I mean, the problem.
Okay. So first of all, I don't think that's actually going to happen. They're not taking into account one important thing, and that important thing is that his Trump's approval ratings are actually going up as this is happening. I think a lot of people just trust him more as far as the common man goes, but I mean, maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. Tell me what you think. I mean, do you think Trump's tariffs are a mistake? I personally think he's going to put us in a situation where we're in a fair trade and let's just say that, just like Keir Starmer said, globalization is over. And that's how they've been maintaining globalization, was through this non-tariff free trade. But though they all charged us tariffs the entire time, why is this such a panic? And why all of a sudden are the Democrats hating it? I don't understand that. They've been defending tariffs for 200 years. I don't get it. Anyway, let's get back to it.
With no one really caring that the Republican Party stopped functioning as a political party, and then as a consequence, Congress stopped functioning as a separate branch of government, is that you now have a policy.
Okay, I think she's wishful thinking. She's spewing bullshit. Actually, the Republicans or the MAGA movement's more united than ever. And just because some rhino Republicans in Washington are tweaking out, whatever. Honestly, we're going to push them to the wayside, or they can go join the libtards. I don't care. Go do what they got to do. I'm telling you, in the long run, this is going to work for America. There's a reason why we did tariffs for 125 straight years. So this whole panic thing, yeah, the stock market drops. So what? It'll go back up. You know what I say? When the stock market is down, that's a good time to buy. So get out there and start buying. The crypto market's dropping right now, too. I would say start buying up those coins. Do what you got to do. Now's the time to become a millionaire if you want to become one. Don't listen to these fools because they don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Policy that will usher in the political death of the Republican brand, but also do an enormous amount of damage to the American family's purchasing power.
All right. This coming from a party that has 21% approval rating right now. Again, wishful thinking. They are really over dramatizing this because, the truth be told, most of us aren't worried about it. Most Americans aren't worried about it. As a matter of fact, if you go look at the gas tank, it's $2.69 a gallon right now. That's actually pretty good. All things considered, under Obama and Bush, it went over $4. Almost hit $4 under Biden. So, I do know this. American jobs doubled since February into March. It doubled. So, and there's been threats of it. And another thing, Donald Trump ran on tariffs. That's what he ran on. So the American people are in approval. Just because MSNBC and CNN and the rest of the mainstream media and legacy media are not on board, here's the deal. If Joe Biden was doing tariffs, they would be on board. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. But anyway, let's get back to it.
How do you help the people that are going to suffer in that middle period, even if the political price is one that is owed to the American people?
I mean, I think that is such an important question, and we should not lose sight of the fact that there are millions of American families today just very worried about their economic future.
No, they're not. His approval rating is 52% right now. What are you guys talking about? This is a lie. Michael Linden is lying. See, it says former senior advisor to the Biden White House. This guy is so full of poop, he could be a sewage system. Give me a break. This guy, look at him. He even looks shady. He looks like a weird dude. He looks like, I don't know, like somebody cut his balls off like every other Democrat male.
They are scared of what is happening. They are hurting. People are worried about losing their jobs. They're worried about prices going up. They're worried about losing their health care. And we can talk politics all day, but we have to remember at the end of underneath all of this is real people who are really, really suffering. And Donald Trump and his allies in Congress are making things worse. I cannot imagine a more toxic policy mix.
Is that all they do is whine and complain like a bunch of little women? Dude, I mean, seriously already, man. Enough's enough with this BS. I mean, 12 years ago, you guys were all about tariffs. You guys were ready to impose 50% tariffs on China. So, you know what? And as far as the historic stock market drop, people are going to benefit from that. He knows that. I know that. Everybody knows that. Anybody who knows the stock market, and to be size which, just because it collapsed and crashed a little bit, it did this in 2022 when everything stopped for 3 months because the Democrats had to close the fucking country down. Anyway, I'm so tired of this tit for tat. Why don't we all just get there and actually do something and make some sense about enough of this tit for tat stuff. It's like they can't wait to jump on something. It's so pathetic. How does this guy wake up every day and look at himself without laughing, for starters? Because I can't help it. I look at him and I'm laughing my ass off. This guy's a clown.
Of cutting people's health care, raising their grocery costs, cut, and then using that to pay for tax breaks for rich people.
Okay. Tax breaks for rich people, huh? Here we go again. Millionaires talking about the rich people and the tax breaks. I'm getting so sick and tired of the hypocrisy of millionaires complaining about tax breaks for the rich. He absolutely benefits from that himself. Jesus, give me a break, bro. Are you serious? Anyway.
Like designed in a lab to be politically toxic. And it's baffling to me from a political standpoint, but I love the question you asked because we cannot lose sight of the fact that there are real people who are going to suffer from this over the next 18 months. And I genuinely hope that Republicans in Congress take a different tack.
Okay, what he genuinely hopes is that it's a failure. That's what he genuinely hopes. He's talking crap when he says that he hopes that Republicans get it together. No, he does not. That is such a lie. You know that, dude. Come on, man. Come on, brother. So, don't lie to us. Don't lie to yourself. And stop lying. It's just, you know how we know he's lying? Because his lips are moving. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Here. They know what happens when they try to take people's health care away and when they make things difficult for working people. They know what happens when they raise prices for everybody in America. They should take a different path here. They still can. It's not too late.
I mean, David Jolly,
this coming from a guy from a party who created the biggest inflation since Jimmy Carter. Are you serious, man? You know, they said the same things about Ronald Reagan back in the 1980s, by the way. When Reagan became president, the economy, it took a while to get it back together. It literally took both of his terms to get America to where it needed to be. But how quickly the Democrats forget. What about those Bo Weevil Democrats? They were all over. Oh, they really loved the recognition of working with Ronald Reagan. How about this? How about the Democrats work with Donald Trump this time around? How about that? Let's see how we can make this work. Let's try something different because the status quo hasn't worked. So it is time for a change.
The crazy thing is that there is nothing conservative or Republican about this. It is economic destruction to service the ego and the vibes of Donald Trump, the man. It has nothing to do with the Republican brand as it's existed ever.
The tariffs announced by Donald Trump essentially equate to the largest tax increase we've seen in modern history. And that comes at the hands of a Republican president. And also, if you marshal it with the tax package they're about to pass.
Well, he keeps forgetting about the part that we want to do away with the IRS, and that will way offset it. If you watch my last video, there's about $11,000 difference between paying income tax or having tariffs raise the cost of goods on your items and. But basically anything not made in America. If it's made here, guess what? You're not paying the tariff tax. Oh, well, there's a thought. Let's bring jobs back to America. Oh, no, that would not be the Democrat way. Oh, the working guy, the working man, the union guy. It's all horse crap, and you know it. And as far as Representative David Jolly, he never really was a Republican. He's always been a rhino. And honestly, I was surprised he got reelected.
Pass through. You're talking about exploding the debt, exploding annual deficits in a way that all of those things, Nicole, when you used to be a down the line Republican, that was manna. That was what we talked about, was reducing debt and deficits, bringing down taxes. Donald Trump is the opposite of that. And in many ways, he crushed the traditional orthodoxy of republicanism. And the one thing he figured out was populism.
That's right. He crushed it. And thank God, the Republican Party has been failing for 70 years. I mean, Donald Trump realigned and redesigned the Republican Party. They should be kissing the ground he walks on, because he probably wouldn't even have a job right now if it wasn't for the success of Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. So enough's enough, dude. Just leave. I think we get the idea. Where it goes with this. I'm going to go ahead and leave it right here, because I don't believe that Republicans are really scrambling to defend Trump's tariffs. Anybody with some basic economics will tell you that, anyone with basic economics knowledge can tell you that tariffs, all they do is even the playing field. Yes, there's a short-term hit in the process, because especially when you got China saying they're going to retaliate with 34%. Well, so what? Let China retaliate with 34%. Most of their stuff is crap anyway. It's not like they build anything that lasts. I mean, China is the laughing stock of the industrial world as far as it comes for lasting products. Yeah, you can get millions of products dirt cheap, as long as you don't mind throwing it away in a couple of weeks. So, whatever. Go ahead. Put your tariffs, your retaliatory tariffs. They've already been tariffing us all along anyway. So now it's just an even playing field. And all these people are afraid of an even playing field. I'm going to go ahead and let this guy finish what he's got to say on here, and then we'll go ahead and stop it. But I do want to hear what he's got to say.
Works electorally, but it doesn't work in governing. And the way he has disrupted the Republican Party has created danger for us nationally. Obviously, we know that under Donald Trump's, his legacy is one of danger, but it's also dangerous for the Republican Party, because they have so decided, okay, we have rebuilt our party in Donald Trump's image. We're all in. All our chips are on the table. And if this goes the way it's going, Donald Trump's not on the ballot again, but every other Republican is. Watch out.
Well, hopefully watch out for him. I hope he does get voted out. So get on board, buddy. Get on board, or go back to Florida, loser. Whatever you need to do, man. But I'm just telling you right now, Americans are in favor of it right now. We're in favor of evening out the economic disadvantage. We're tired of losing. Well, what good is having cheap goods if you don't have a good job? So, enough's enough of this. Let's just move on from this whole tariff scare, because I think it's going to be all right in the long run. Seriously, it's going to be okay. Whether you like tariffs or whether you don't like tariffs, it's really not going to be that big of a hit. Yes, the stock market took a hit. It dropped. These are the same people who 2 weeks ago, Tampon Timmy was sitting there bragging about how he keeps his cell phone with the app on to let him know that Tesla was sinking, even though $1.4 trillion or $1.4 billion, I'm sorry, my mistake, $1.4 billion is in the Minnesotans, state retirement fund, and it was collapsing. And this guy's out there waving his hands up in the air like he's some kind of happy little freak. I swear to God, man, what's wrong with this guy, Baby Huey? Anyway, that's besides the point. You know what? Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, hit subscribe, and hit those notifications so you would know when my next episode is going to be. This was meant to be a short episode. This was more just to be a follow-up on the last episode about tariffs. But hopefully, I personally think that over time this is going to get better. It's going to be just fine. Everybody's being hysterical for no reason. You know what I say? Now's a good time to enter the stock market. Now's a good time to enter the crypto market. There's a lot of money that's going to be made, because when all this evens out, and it is going to even out, and when it does, you want to be on the right side of that historically, or at least financially. And on that note, I'd like to thank you guys for, tuning in today and watching the show. And also, I would like to thank my Lord and Savior for allowing me to be here to talk to y'all today. And as usual, as always, good night, y'all.